Everybody, I'm Jason Creel. You're watching The Lawn Care Life, and I got something that's been on my mind I want to talk to you about today. And I'm just sort of rethinking my own lawn care business, and I want to give you some things to think about because I want to give you the three things, and I've changed my order on this. I'll just go ahead and tell you the three things that I think you need to be successful in the lawn care business. Now, is there more than three? Of course, there's more than three. But these are the top three that come to my mind. And again, I've got a new number one because I'm seeing it in my own business. I had number two and three going pretty well, but I was not doing terrible on what is my now number one. And so I'm going to tell you the three, and I'm going to put them in order for you for a particular reason. And you can add to it in the list. But anyway, let's get started. Top three things you got to have that's going to decide, in my opinion. Again, there's other factors, but this can determine whether or not you're going to be successful or a failure in the lawn care business. Now, today's video is sponsored by my friends at Graham Spray Equipment. You can see the link in the description, but check them out at grahamsc.com. I'm in the weed control and fertilization business, and I use a spray rig made by Graham Spray Equipment in Douglasville, Georgia, and those guys are awesome. All right, number three. And I'm going in reverse order. So third most important thing, according to my list, you guys can give me your feedback in the comments. And I would have had this number one before, but if you said, what's one key you have to start a lawn business? Well, to me, it's now number three, and it's your business image. Can you go out there and create an image for your business right off the bat or as soon as possible that screams to the world, to the public, to your potential customers, this is a great company that will do an excellent job on my lawn, and I would even be willing to pay a little bit more for this particular company based on their image. Okay, not because they've ever seen you do anything, but because of the business image, the way your equipment looks, the way you carry yourself, your logo, your shirt, the appearance of overall how everything looks. Maybe it's that they found you on the internet and the Facebook page you have, your Instagram account, your website, the amount of reviews you have on Google. I mean, you know, all these things that say, yes, quality, quality, quality. I want this particular company because I'm tired of dealing with the lesser companies. And if you can make that happen sooner than later, I'm talking about ideally before you ever even have a customer, it just screamed. Now, maybe hard on some of those like the Google reviews and things like that. But if you can let your business scream out, we are extreme quality and we're going to do an excellent job from the beginning, then guess what? Right off the bat, you're not out there competing on price and just saying, well, I'll do it for $5 cheaper than the other person. You know, that's what you want to try to avoid at all costs. So if you can, from the very beginning, put yourself in a position to charge a higher price, because here's what I've learned, and this, you know, it's may vary region to region, but in my area, there are a segment of society that's going to go for the cheapest option. Not worried so much about quality. I don't want to cut my grass. I don't want to do weed control. What's the cheapest thing you got? Okay. There's some middle of the road people. You know, I don't want the cheapest, but I can't really afford the best. So I just want something in the middle. And then there's a segment that wants to pay extra for the best. Okay, and they might be offended if it doesn't cost more. Okay, you go to a restaurant, I want the best thing on the menu. Okay, I get a glass of wine, I want the best one. Okay, not concerned with what it costs. I want the best. Well, from a business standpoint, to target that lower group that wants the cheapest is not a good idea, because they will fire you in a heartbeat if they find somebody cheaper and just not what you're looking for. I mean, just be honest with you. If you have a certain amount of yards you can cut a particular day, why would you not cut ones that are going to pay you more? Okay, because like I said, let's just divide it in thirds, and I'm not saying it's thirds, but if a third of people are looking for the cheapest, a third are looking for the middle, and a third are going to spend the most, why would you not at least target the third in the middle and the third above that? You just completely ignore that. So how do you do that? Well, you got to position yourself. You got to look the part. I mean, you know, for the most part. So anyway, that's what I'm saying about your business image. And I think it's very important. Go ahead and get a website. If you're going to be in the lawn business, go ahead and spend some money on a logo, whatever you need to do to make yourself look professional, presentable, and that says I have at least a chance to compete for the middle and upper class clients out here. Because if you go mow a yard, why not get paid $70 for it instead of $40? You know what I'm saying? If it's going to take you the same amount of time, why would you not get more? All right, number two. What's the second reason? And I put this number 2 for a reason. The previous one was number 3. I'm counting in reverse order, getting to my number 1 top reason last. The number 2 is to be able to market yourself. And really, I'm going to tell you why I put that number 2 instead of number 3. You say, we got to be able to market yourself. If you can't get customers, I mean, how are you going to be in business? Well, I think having a good image is very important to marketing yourself. But there may be a few of you that are so good at marketing yourself that you can actually have a horrible image and still find a way to get top quality work. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I don't think most people can do that. But some of you may just say, I've got a sorry looking truck that every time I crank it, it smokes out the back. My lawn equipment's falling apart. But we get top dollar and we do great work. You know, if you could do that, okay, good for you. So to be able to market yourself, again, I kind of differentiate when I talk about marketing between 2 things, between your kind of your short-term conversions and your long-term branding. Okay, long-term branding, I want my name out there, my company name out there. I want a website. I want people in the community knowing my company. So and that takes a while. That can take long-term, building relationships, getting to know people who could send you referrals. Like I do weed control, so I get to know the people mowing grass. If you're mowing grass, get to know the weed control people. Having an established website that actually ranks well on the internet, on the search engines. Those things can take time, but they can pay off huge over time. Short term, it may be, you know, doing direct mail. It may be just going out talking to people. It may be knocking on doors, which is, you know, awful, but it does work if it's legal in your area. So I mean, maybe being active in local Facebook groups, saying, "Hey, we're out here doing work in this neighborhood. If anybody needs a quote, please let me know." And maybe building relationships and just letting your friends and family know what you're doing and asking them to help you get referrals. So there's some short-term things, but the long-term. But you got to have a plan to get customers, and not just get customers, but target the ones you want. Like you say, you know, I'm going to focus on these 5 neighborhoods or this particular part of town where I think the clientele is able to pay me, like we talked about in the previous section about a higher amount of money. Then that's what I'm going to target, and that's the area I'm going to target. So very important to be able to get customers. Of course, you can't get customers, then you're going to go out of business. I've started 3 lawn care businesses, if you're new to the channel. My third one, I got about 100 customers the first year. And that was, you know, I didn't have a big budget, to be honest with you. I got to know a lot of people. I had a lot of people sending me customers. And I picked up about 100 the next year and 100 the next year, you know. So, but I'm doing weed control and fertilization. It kind of takes a lot of customers to get going in that. You need to have a plan and maybe even consider if you're going to leave a job or not leave a job. How many customers do you realistically think you can get that first year? And maybe you have to keep that job a little longer, do the lawn care on the side before you make that jump. Some of you have been there, done that. Maybe you can leave in the comments, you went ahead and made the jump, didn't make the jump. But then once you get established, you start getting referrals. It's not that hard to get customers. It's just that first year or two that makes it difficult to get customers. All right, my grand finale and the third thing I want to mention, which is number 1, and this is something I've been learning a lot about this particular year, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. But it's the ability to adapt. Okay, and I'm going to share a story of my own business, some experiences from my own business of why I think now this is my number 1 thing that you got to be able to do to be successful in a lawn care business. Because listen, you may start a lawn business and have a good business image. You may be able to market yourself and pick up 100 customers the first year and be doing fine. And then things change. There's more competition. Prices on your materials go up. You have, it's more difficult to find help than it was before. All things that are realistic and people are dealing with right now. And then it becomes, can you adapt to where as you move forward, you're more profitable and not less profitable each year. All right, so again, I mentioned I do weed control fertilization. Prices have gone up this year, okay? Prices have gone up on a lot of things this year. as you probably are aware of. Well, I can either continue doing the exact same thing I'm doing at a lesser profit margin, bad for business. How many people are working a regular job, their boss says, hey, next year I want you to come do the exact same job. I'm going to pay you a little bit less than I did last year. And the next year after that, I'm going to give you just a little bit less, and I'm going to knock off a little bit more of your vacation time just as a thank you for being here an extra year. People wouldn't go for that, okay? But we do that to ourselves in the lawn care business regularly, okay? We're working longer hours to try to make more money because we're less profitable in the yard. So for me, I've had to say I've either got to go up on my prices, which is something that's good for your business, but for me, I'm actually adding an application to my program. So I've been mostly doing 7 applications a year. Some people do 6, some 7, some 8, some 9, some 12. You know, there's people all over the map. And I thought, how can I, as prices go up and I'm wanting to continue to improve my program, how do I do that? Well, I wanted to add a particularly effective product to the program. Well, it's an expensive product. If you just add that in and no additional cost to the customer, guess what? You're making less money than you did the year before. But I thought if I add an extra round to my plan here, now I'm spreading that cost out a little bit, able to keep my profit margins up, and actually hopefully next year have a more profitable year with a better lawn care program than I did this year. Okay, and the customers get added value because now I'm going to be on their property 8 times a year instead of 7. Hopefully you can do a better job keeping the weeds under control, and so that's just my example of how I adapted. The also other things, you know, as you grow, I'm adapting to where I'm planning to go next year to prepay only or credit card on file. Okay, no more just chasing the money around. I'm adapting. I'm trying to make myself more efficient, which means more profitable. For you in the lawn care business, you might need to adapt if you're out there mowing lawns to, again, you might find it very difficult to find help this year. And now that labor shortages are happening, you see people offering bonuses and things to try to get employees. So you may have even more competition for your help, meaning you may have to pay them a little bit more, meaning that you need to look at your business and say, am I actually doing the same amount of work that I did last year for less money? Because I'm having to pay people more money to get good help. And maybe you can make up for that by looking at your route, raising your prices where you need to raise your prices, adjusting whatever needs to be done, getting rid of customers that are not paying. But to be able to adapt, maybe you need to add something. Maybe you're mowing, you want to get into weed control, you want to get into landscaping and trying to find some higher margins in your business, as opposed to just continue to do the same thing. As you get another year older, your legs are a little more tired than they were last year, and you're becoming less profitable year after year. I'm sad to say it, but I've done that, and I think many people do that, and that's why they end up ultimately burning out. And I wouldn't call it a failure in the lawn business, but ultimately after so many years, you're just like, I just can't do it anymore. I give up, because you didn't adapt and you didn't adjust to the circumstances and move forward. If you're watching this and you're thinking about getting a lawn business, or maybe you're in it and you want to add the weed control, I do have a lot of resources at lawncarelife.com. I'm probably going to open up a training class teaching people weed control again this fall and winter. We did that last year. There's video courses on there. There's all kind of programs for mowing, mosquito spray, weed control, fertilization at lawncarelife.com. Appreciate you watching the video. I would be interested to hear from you in the comments to see what you think about my 3 tips to be successful, but you may have some more. You may rearrange the order. Maybe you've been there and done that and you have some advice to give. I'm Jason Creel. Subscribe if you hadn't done so. Check out the over 600 videos on the channel by simply clicking Lawn Care Life, my channel name below, and go check out the videos on my channel homepage. Talk to you later. Bye.